Gather round, hunters, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Postmod. I'm Fleet Admiral Tyrk of the heavy battlecruiser Ancient Kings, as we continue our campaign against the Romulan Star Empire. And last time, well, we've been kicking butt across the entire star cluster. That's what we only have one, maybe two, but I'm pretty sure it's just one planet left in the Romulan Star Empire before they are defeated, which means we have gotten to the stage of the campaign, despite the fact there's a whole bunch of dials, where we're going to have to start thinking about what faction we're going to be playing next. Place your suggestions down in the comments below, but let's get ourselves fully kitted out and set to go on a little adventure as we go into the rest of Romulan space with our advanced bombardment cruiser. So we will set course to the southeast, and there is the planet. A planetary assault is the initial operation, so we have finished with all the homeworlds, we have conquered them in their entirety, and now just the normal planets shall fall before us. Now the one advantage to fighting normal planets is they generally don't have as high Empire defense as full-on homeworlds, so shouldn't take as long. We're squaring off against some sort of X-type heavy cruiser. It is an XCF, a fast advanced heavy cruiser, and we're being escorted today by the USS Jackson, which is a CX, one of the most advanced normal-style heavy cruisers, and the NAX USS Hampton. I was looking down here for a second, and so all I saw was USS. And we are squaring off against PL-17, so that is only 8 Phaser 3s for its defense, and no shields to speak of, which means this ought to be reasonably good. However, one important thing to keep in mind is the fact that we know that Romulan fast advanced heavy cruisers have on board pseudo-frigates, so we're going to fire from well beyond maximum range, because he is actually going to come into range with us. And once we get our missiles away, we will immediately begin to pull away and hit the engines to full power. The main reason being, the moment he launches his pseudo-frigates, he's going to drop into cloak. At least that's a behavior that we've been observing recently. So if we want this missile salvo to go into him, we need to make sure that we don't get within a range where he thinks that dropping pseudo-frigates is a good idea. Now, the other problem is that the Hampton and the, I forgot your name already, the Jackson are just going to auger right in on him. So fairly soon, he's going to get within range of them to drop his pseudo-frigates. So we need to take advantage of this as much as we can from as far away as we can. And the first salvo of missiles is looking good. He's at a speed where he can outrun them, but I think his little AI brain, yep, his little AI brain. Oh, and luckily he wasn't able to shoot down all of the missiles, so that means we're going to get accurate fire on him. And there go his pseudo-frigates. He has deployed, but he has not dropped into cloak, which means he's about to take some damage. And there we go, 142 damage already through his defenses, and we can go in now. 142 damage ought to be a decent amount of power away from where he can be, so that's going to work out pretty good. Unfortunately for us, however, oh wow, excellent, so that went right through an open shield. Unfortunately for us, he is still equipped with his entire missile salvo, or entire plasma torpedo complement, which is a decent number of plasma torpedoes, so unfortunately, Hampton's about to get mauled. So we're going to try and see if we can't get up to speed, maybe cut across in front of them, make them so that they want to go after us. Nope. Too late. There go all of his plasma torpedoes, and he should drop into cloak at this point. Let's go phasers to overload. We're going to pass in nice and close on this guy. In fact, disruptors, that's an open shield. Go engage. Getting some decent damage out through. That'll keep the shield down for a little while longer, and he's turned in order to give the Jackson a pretty decent shot there. I'm going to open up with the big ones. Hi, you've got 36 missiles heading your way, and all of those plasma torpedoes were wasted. Not a single one able to actually come into contact with the actual missiles themselves. A decent number getting through already. We're going to open fire with the rest. Phasers on overload, shooting through that down shield, stunning a couple of systems offline. His Gatling phasers did get involved with that one, but we're looking good here for the missile hit. And there we go, defender ship destroyed. Alright, time to set course for the planet and prepare to commence bombardment. We will drop down to our bombardment speed of 24 and prepare the Titanic Giga Salvo. So there go the initial blast. That'll be 6 MIRVs. Those MIRVs become 36 independent warheads. And then we'll do that again and then one more time for a grand total of 116 missiles in total, because the last 8 comes from our standard missile salvo. So the planet is about to have a very bad day. There's really no other way to put it. And group number 2. And we're just going to increase the speed time as we soar on through. The missiles slowly getting off course with us, but that's alright. We actually don't need to get the salvo super close to each other. Oh, we may have launched early. Whoops. I don't think I timed this right. I think I wasn't paying quite enough close attention, and we may have launched from beyond maximum range of some of these missiles. Unless the MIRVs have infinite range. Which I'm not willing to say they don't. Yep, we launched well early. Whoops. So the Giga Salvo, slightly less giga than normal, and the thing that cued me off to that was the fact that we were at a distance of like 40 by the time that missile salvo got out. But at least we know that MIRVs are actually affected by distance, where they tend to be interestingly affected by different things at different times. There we go. This ought to take care of the rest of the people on the planet. Yeah, that's the rest of the people on that planet. So there's only 2 left, but you can't get beneath 2 for some reason. I don't know why. It seems very odd. Maybe it's a special rule that's actually in the rules themselves for Starfleet battles, but in this game, well, we can't get any lower than that. So we've done our very best. Our 4 Marine teams will finish taking on the single Marine team and then secure the planet, and that'll be the first planetary capture of the day. I'm waiting for it to trigger through. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Mostly. Okay, 30%. There you go. They have successfully captured what appears to be Venus. It's not Saturn because it doesn't have a giant ring, but it's the right color for Venus-ish. Although it's also sort of the right color for Saturn. Maybe a bit. No, I'm thinking of Saturn correctly. Alright, 495 prestige is our reward, an Empire defense of 65, so a decent number of missions before we knock it out, but we will knock it out. We are confident of that. We're going to pop over here just to see what's in the neighborhood before immediately coming back here to take out the planet, because the planet is the only thing we really care about. It'll be the most difficult target to crack, and that's the important bit. So get ourselves on a red alert and increase speed situation. We're not going to prepare any scatter packs, but we should prepare a Wild Weasel. Let's try to stay in the habit of doing that. Even though oftentimes we engage from ranges well beyond, you always want to have that emergency backup just waiting in the wings for you. Let's increase speed time to maximum. And as soon as we have free power, which... Oh, there's the enemy. It is a single frigate. Alright, so this ought to be relatively simple. Unlike the missile, or the planetary assault, I can actually do this because he is heading towards us. And by heading towards us, he effectively increases the speed of the missile itself. See, the missile is traveling at a speed of 24, but because he's closing at a speed of 24, that missile effectively is going at a speed of 48, as long as he's heading straight towards it. I think we've got him. Yeah. If you are just a frigate, probably not a great idea to try and engage the advanced bombardment cruiser. Not your greatest plan ever. So we're pretty much all set with that one. That'll be a nice little interesting 5-point pickup on that one. That mission lasted 59 seconds, not even a minute. Oh, that's moderately hilarious. Alright, let's get ourselves on a convoy raid mission. We're kind of okay to build up this sort of operation. And let's see here. Radio stations. We have a frigate and a freighter. I saw the frigate, I thought. Freighter, more freighters, lots of freighters. Just 2 freighters? Am I seriously just... Okay, so we are in the far chase position. We're going to have to get ourselves up to speed to jump on top of these guys. And yeah, let's set our phasers to overload. I'll drop 1 point of speed in order to set our shuttle conversion to a single Wild Weasel. Have that all set and ready to go by the time we actually join combat. And more freighters, but not seeing the actual enemy themselves. Could send out a probe, but the question is, do I care that... Are you coming towards me? No, are you? You're a light cruiser. Yep. You are the enemy, so let us conduct bombardment operations. We're also first going to get ourselves fully up to speed. So the first of the missiles, we will then fire the second of the missiles. It's going to be the same Quickstep salvo that we've been doing, well, since last mission, actually. That, by doing so, we should be able to do more than enough damage to whoever's coming in. Maybe not. He is technically a heavy war destroyer, so he might be a little bit more robust. But I kind of doubt it. Get the missiles going, traveling in front of us as we put a nice big meaty salvo in there. And phasers are indeed set to overload. We're going to set target for, well, just anybody in the group that we can get to. Full power. We'll also go to a little bit of forward shield reinforcement because we are going to hurt ourselves as we kind of approach the freighters. 1, because our disruptors will actually cause a little bit of splashback damage, but 2, some of these freighters could be well armed. I hope not. Well, an FLPL, so he's armed with plasma torpedoes. You're doing a speed of 28, so I need to draw you into my missiles. So I'm actually going to do a loop. We're going to come around in this direction and soar off away from him. And that is our Wild Weasel shuttle ready to go, so I can now put up one more point of energy. And how are you going to respond to the incoming death? By turning into it. Not a great plan, but hey, it was yours, so I will give you credit for it. Do you deserve credit for it? I don't really think so, but hey, you're gonna enjoy or not, as the case may be. And the actual real Salvo that is meant to do the damages and the killing. And ooh, timing on that was quite interesting. 142 damage, and he is still alive. Fascinating. Are my nerves empty? My nerves are empty. I don't know how, but they are completely empty. So let's just get a standard Salvo going down. We're going to have to go home sometime soon just to restock the fact that our nerves are depleted after a single Salvo. I didn't put a scatter pack, did I? Not that the scatter pack should take that, but no, I did not. He's down to a speed of 7.5. That's not going to save him. He's pretty much done for at this point, unless he's got his shuttle bay online. Quick probe. No, he does not. So he's dead. He tried. Yeah, there wasn't much left of the ship at that point. We had just dealt so much damage. So we're going to have to, well, use our missiles as best as we can. So here's my plan. I'm going to use this sort of like a MIRV. And we'll drop down in speed a little bit. They're doing a speed of 14. Ooh, these missiles will actually not reach that target. Because, so, remember in the last mission how we were talking about if you're heading towards the missiles at a speed of 24 and the missiles are doing a speed of 24 towards you, you're doing actually, the missile is effectively moving at a speed of 48. Well, in this case, he's doing 10 away from us. The missile's doing 14. 14 times 3 is 42. So we fired from we may have fired on the edge of his range. We'll find out more later. You have plasma torpedoes, so I'm going to try and stay behind you, I think. We'll pop out this missile group here, and we're then going to separate it by 5 and pop out the next missile group, because I'm not quite sure which direction your your plasma torpedoes actually flow. Alright, second set of the Salvo, and the C-Rack looks to be empty. Yeah, that's empty already. Where did all our ammunition go? That seems very odd. And phasers are ready to rock just as soon as we finish taking out the FLPLs. That's my main concern, because they can actually shoot back. So he did indeed dump a Wild Weasel, which that missile will go right in for, but these missiles, well, by the time they make it there, they should go right into his stern, which should blow him up quite effectively. FT3 is equipped with nothing useful or important. Oh, good moves, very good moves. You're dead. He's dead now. We can ignore him. Because, well, yes, the phaser strike was very well done, using all of his phasers. They will not be ready in time for the second Salvo. So we're going to swoop in here behind this first freighter and get ready to just nail him with disruptors once we get within a range of about 3. Okay, so the FLPL is dead. Anybody who had a hope of attempting to defend this convoy is now gone. Disruptors. Okay, disruptors have opened them up. Phaser X's have managed to crush him. Alright, so let's get to the head of this convoy. I'm going to increase the speed of time. Nobody can defend themselves at this point. They're all just, well, weak. Very weak. So I'm just going to come in here with Phaser X's and attempt to destroy. And Phaser Gatlings, I suppose. You're surprisingly well endowed with heavy phaser weaponry. So I'm going to do this, which you will stop with. And then I'm going to do this. And a little bit more. He got confused on his own mind. They have a very basic logic to attempt to avoid mines, even if it's their own. And so that's why he kind of careened out of position. On to the PT-1R. I was expecting you to fire your missiles, but you did not. Well, I suppose I might be confusing it a little bit. We'll take the missile on the stern. It did a little bit of damage. Nothing we can't handle, though. We are, after all, an X-type heavy cruiser. We are beyond the amount of damage he's capable of dealing. Well, unless, you know, the worst happens. But there we go. Convoy defeated. All enemies deleted. I was trying to come up with something nice to say, and I just couldn't do it. So I ended up just going with something easy. Alright, so that's a convoy rated out, as well as the additional blowing up of their frigate in the last mission. Already got it down to 55. This is going quite well. Now we're here for another MET-10 patrol, so it looks like we're not going to be bombing as many planets so much as annihilating the people trying to stream into the area as their emergency defense. At least that's my justification for it. Let's come over here and set up our Wild Weasel already. Rocking and rolling with that one. Increase the speed of time. And eventually we will run into the enemy. We will also go with maximum forward shield reinforcement just in case. Hi, what are you? You are a heavy cruiser. Specifically, you are a Nova Hawk. Fascinating. Alright. Conduct bombardment. We're going to try and go for the special bombardment, the ultra bombardment, which we don't normally get to try because generally we get a little bit too close in order to handle it. The missile salvo is a little bit stretched, but that should be okay. So we'll start to fall back, begin our turn, and the rest of the missiles are away. Okay, so that's a little bit wider of a spread than I want. The distance is like, what, 10 at least? Yeah, 11. So because of that, the defenses are going to have a better opportunity to actually try and shoot things down. Luckily for us, he doesn't have any D-type plasma torpedoes, so he won't have any massive way of dealing with what's coming on him. So we're just going to increase speed to the maximum and stay out at long range. I'm not sure if the full salvo is enough to kill him, but it could be kind of close. So waiting for that to go down, and let's see how he handles what's coming for him now. It is quite the length. Oh, and he fired his phasers at the last moment at us. That is a major mistake that you don't want to make. He's alive. How cute. How quaint. I'm doing a speed of, there we go. Drop down to 23. You're done, sir. You never stood a chance. Just make sure the missile, slow down. Let the missiles get out ahead of us. We, of course, want the missiles to be the thing that he engages first with his defenses, even though he seems to be quite eager to try and shoot at us instead of try and defend himself. So we'll just let the missiles streak on in there. Maximum speed for the extra long tails. And, well, he might have another wild weasel. It's entirely possible. And he's traveling slow enough that he can actually use it without stopping. No, he did not. He absolutely did not. Goodbye. Alright, so that takes out a Nova Hawk. Pretty decent heavy cruiser. I mean, it's not the most amazing we've ever seen. Although, they are pretty good. What is... I'm trying to remember the designation for the one that has 3 plasma torpedoes. Or plasma R torpedoes, I should be specific, because those are the scary ones. If you can pack 3 plasma R torpedoes into a fight, well, you've got something. An anomaly or a shipyard assault? Well, I suppose we have to go for the shipyard assault, because we don't want to go for the anomaly. Anomalies are terrible mission types. Alright, let's... Oh, good. It's only defended by a freighter, and we decided to bring along the heavy carrier USS Hodgson. Oh, also a K-5. So a frigate and a freighter. Okay. I will attempt to work with this, but I'm just not sure if we're going to be able to bust through these defenses. This is a level of protection that we rarely see. So let's set ourselves on our sights. He is an FLPL, so that does mean he has 2 plasma F torpedoes. There is that going for him, unless he's an FLPX, which I think has the Gs instead, but it's the same damage, just a little bit greater range. I wouldn't classify it as an important amount of armament. Alright, we're going to go with the Quickstep Salvo here, for obvious reasons. He's only a frigate, he can't take it. Sorry, buddy, but you're just not... You are not on the level of being able to handle this kind of salvo, and we've demonstrated that multiple times. Now, it's entirely possible that he's incredibly well endowed with D-type plasma torpedoes. And if he is, well then we've got to bust through that. But if he's not, he's dead. I give him a 5% chance of being able to survive that salvo if he doesn't cloak. If he does cloak, all bets are off, because odds are every missile will lose track and it'll just be a nightmare. Let's get the disruptors blazing away. We may as well. No reason not to. And we'll also go for a forward shield reinforcement. In fact, if we wanted to, we couldn't take both of his plasma torpedoes to the nose, but we could take one and less than half, because it's 27.5 points of power into the forward shield is what we would get if we were sitting there without having to expend any energy. Did you cloak? No, you cloaked. You absolutely cloaked. It was the smartest thing you could have done. But I'm going to hopefully... Oh, no, I can't. I was immediately going to follow up Salvo. Well, I guess you're getting it then. He decided he wanted to live. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I was going to keep you alive and not do this to you, but... Well, your buddy decided that it was more important for him to survive than a freighter. And he drops the Wild Weasel. He'll slow down. Send a probe off to this frigate. Let's find out exactly what it is we're dealing with. Do I even need to bother with just trying to play at long range and mess with him? 2 in plasma S's is actually a pretty considerable amount of firepower. We will unload just as soon as these missiles strike target, because we don't want to, of course, waste it. Although, I think the fighters have got it. Let's dump a couple of missiles on them. See if we can't get them out in front. And again, we're going to do another attempted quick step salvo. We don't need the missiles for the Stardocks. The Stardocks are very good at point defense. as one might expect. Although, he's probably going to cloak from this. I would imagine so. If he doesn't cloak for the fighters, then he's going to die. Yeah. He hired each turned. Interesting moves. He's also dropped down considerably in speed. He's about to take 3 missiles worth of damage. Oh no, that was the Wild Weasel. Okay, he's gone. The fighters will loop back in. They might undercut my salvo. Which, you know, whatever. Oh, he fired at me. How cute. Full power. And phasers to point defense, please. So he's dead. And this is going to hurt a bit. Oh wow, that was considerably less damage than I thought it was going to be. Alright, so let's just increase speed of time. Since these are not Klingon Stardocks, so they don't shoot back. They could be, yeah, they're Romulan Stardocks. That's unfortunate. They could potentially cloak, and that would make them invulnerable to forward damage, which is annoying. But we'll attempt to overcome. Luckily, we don't have to worry about a point defense system, so our phasers can just operate at maximum power. We'll overload them, just double check to make sure that that's all set up. And we'll slow down to a park in front of them. We'll fire all our energy weapons because the missiles won't actually be able to hit, unfortunately. We will actually go 1 plus you and you. And continue to slow down. And it sounds like they're already just blitzing that one Stardock just from the thuds and the bangs and the crunches. Okay, I have enough forward shield reinforcement to be able to handle any sort of plasma torpedo strike you send at me. Thank you. I just had to make sure we got that out of the way. And we'll stop right here beyond a range of 2.5, make sure our disruptors don't hurt us, and we'll continue to blaze away. Let the phaser capacitor attempt to recharge. It's just not having a great time of it as it attempts to, so we're going to wait for all the phasers so we can make sure we crunch through. We want the disruptors to be firing too, guys. This is a bit of an important piece of equipment. He no longer has his F-type plasma torpedo launcher, so now we can blaze through that. And he's bringing another shield round, so we're going to wait for the... No! No, you don't! Oh, thank God we dealt enough damage to him before he could cloak. Dealing with a cloaked space station is one of the most frustrating things. You can't tractor them. You can't set off mines on them. You just gotta sit there and eventually get through the damage reduction. Like this guy. Screw this guy. I mean, look at that. That's... He has an entire heavy carrier plus 16 fighters just blazing away at him. And they can't do nothing. So we'll set ourselves up. It's just gonna be a harsh, annoying sit there and bombard. And do it over and over and over. And we'll pull into a park right here. Oh, we're a bit too close, but that's okay. There we go. Does enough damage to knock it out. Radar destroyed on the last one. At least it hasn't cloaked as of yet, so that we got that working for us. We'll pick up the pace a little bit and try and get on over there. And once we hit this Stardock off, that will be all the Stardocks dealt with. Although he does have a defensive plasma torpedo, which that's very unfortunate for the fighter squadrons. See, I really wish that I had an extra hotkey group so that I could select all my non-missile weapons. And that's... Oh, he set that mine too close to himself so it doesn't actually work. That's amusing. I'll take that. We'll pull into a park. We are going to hurt ourselves by firing our disruptors, but that's the price of doing business. And plus, we have a pretty decent amount of forward shield reinforcement. We should be able to last it. Alright, looks like we dealt enough damage to cut him out of cloak once again. There we go. Stardock defeated, despite the fact that the Stardock attempted to be very annoying. And wait to see the prestige. It's what, 350? 450. A little bit more than I thought it was. So, in the course of a single episode, we managed to take it from 65 down to 45, which is pretty good. Yeah, 65 to 45. Did it start at 70? In any event, we're doing real good work on this planet. I'm feeling happy with that one. And while there does appear to be a lot of green, well, there's not a lot of green planets left, just a couple of green space stations, so we're probably going to be able to cut through them in the next 5 to 10 episodes. Anyway, I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time we post one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.